Hi, I'm Kendall, SDP's Man on the Street, and we have a special report today. During my interview with participant choice specialists Samantha and Maria, they brought up some interesting points that I'd like to go on further detail in. So let's go back to Samantha and see what her points were. Who is eligible for this program, the SDP?
Anyone with a regional center who is land-term ineligible, which is usually age 3 and older, can be eligible for for self-determination. Also, people have to be living independently or moving to the community. So the only people who are not eligible are individuals who live in a Medi-Cal funded facility.
Now here's what you need to know about land-term eligibility, especially when it comes to the self-determination program. The Land-term Developmental Disabilities Service Act of 1969 defines the rights of persons with developmental disabilities and establishes a service system to meet individualized needs of consumers and, when appropriate, their families throughout the state. Additionally, legislation establishes the process for determining and providing services. A developmental disability is a disability that starts before the age of 18, is expected to continue indefinitely, and is a substantial disability for that person. To be eligible for services under the Land-term Act, you must have one of the following developmental disabilities: cerebral palsy, epilepsy, autism, intellectual disability, or other conditions closely related to intellectual disabilities or that require similar treatment. In addition to having one of the above listed underlying disabilities, the disability must be also a substantial disability for that person, and that disability imposes significant functional limitations in 3 or more of the following areas of major life activity: self-care, receptive and expressive language, learning, mobility, self-direction, capacity for independent living, and economical self-sufficiency. Now that we have an understanding of the land-term eligibility within the self-determination program, let's have a further talk with Maria. Do you use generic resources for SDP?
Yes, in self-determination, we have to access generic resources first. An example of a generic resource is if you have in-home support services hours, we need to use those. If you're receiving services from schools, we have to look at what are you receiving from the school. So Medi-Cal, Social Security, any of those benefits that you receive have to be looked at first before we are reviewing any new requests for services.
After hearing what Maria just said, let's take a closer look at generic resources. Generic resources are the services that are provided by other agencies that have a legal responsibility to fund them. State law says that regional centers cannot pay for services for which another agency has responsibility. Examples of generic resources include California Children's Services, city, county, and state housing services, community legal services, county medical clinics, county mental health and/or behavioral health services, Department of Rehabilitation, education system, private and/or public, family resource centers, healthcare insurance, private and/or public, and in-home supportive services. I hope this closer look at the land-term eligibility and generic resources was helpful in understanding the SDP program. This is Kendall, SDP's Man on the Street, signing out.